Hi, I'm Robert Jenks, Chairman of AnimeFest. Today I'm going to be talking about creating room schedules. This is a training video intended for AnimeFest managers who are going to be managing the programming rooms at the convention. The first thing you're going to need to do when creating room schedules is to start creating your schedule columns. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to My Account in the system and go to My Schedule Columns. And from here, you can manage the different columns you have available. Just as a note, I am logged in as a director in here, which means I can see everyone's schedules, and we're in a test database. Normally, you would only see the room schedules for your particular department. So if I was logged in as the video theater manager, I would only see the video theater schedules. But here I can see all of them. So let me just show, you can just go here to New and create a new schedule. You can put in a longer schedule name. So let's say, for example, I've already got video theaters 1 through 3. So let me create a video theater 4. You would go down to select department. Now normally you'd only have one choice on this list because if you're logged in as a manager, you'd only see your own. So you select your department. And then for label, this is a short version of the name. We've actually moved to using 2-character abbreviations for the rooms. So in this case, this would be V4 for video room 4. And then next, you would select that it is a room schedule, not a staff schedule. And then finally, there's one field here that's really important. This field, hidden, controls whether or not the schedule shows up to the public on the website. Typically, our pattern is that when we initially create all of our schedule columns, we'll create them as hidden, and then once the schedule is in and we think it's final, then we can change this value to hidden equal no, which will make it show up on the website. So we're going to leave it yes. Hit save. All right, and it's on our list. So now that you've got some schedule columns created, you can do that for all the ones that you need for all the different rooms. Now you can go and work on your schedule. However, we're going to need some programming to actually schedule. So in order to add things, like if I was the video theater manager and wanted to add things, I need to go to Administration, Scheduling, and then Video Programming. And see a list of videos that have already been put in. I just put in some dummy data. You can click New and add new data in there, or you can edit an existing one. The event pull down will let you select between various events that are in the database. In this particular case, this test database only has one fake event in the future. If I had multiple in the past, I could switch and hit Go, which would change this view over to show the videos that were for that past event. Unlike game and panel programming, video programming, we can pull blocks in from previous years. Oftentimes we'll reschedule the same videos that we've shown in the past in some cases, so it's important to be able to pull from that. Now, do note that if you go and edit some video programming from a previous year, you're actually editing old schedules as well. So don't repurpose an old video item for something that's different than what it was originally, otherwise we're going to lose that history. But generally you're going to go and leave it on the current convention, add new videos by clicking New Video, entering the fields, and hitting Save. The fields are pretty self-explanatory. Title and description certainly are. Subtext is some italic text that will show up after the title and description. What we've been using this for in the past is for things like putting what episodes numbers they are for a series, or what type of, what language is it in, subtitles, etc. If the particular showing or panel or game or whatever is sponsored by a company, you can put that in here too. If it's a game like an RPG, it might be for particular level characters. This would be a good place. Or the type of game. Try to keep it fairly short. The whole description, the title, description, and subtext all needs to be short enough to fit within the little rectangle that's going to be used in the schedule block. So you try to keep them fairly short. The type is obviously video in this case, and that's your only choice. The length of it, how long it is, suitability, whether or not it's general audience or 18+. But anyway, I've already got a bunch of videos in here and games and panels, so we can skip this for now. The other thing, game programming is almost identical to what I just showed you for video. Panel programming is a little different because there are a lot of extra fields here. I've got a couple in here now. If we select one of them, you can see. So these fields are the same, the title, description, and subtext that I described. There's a selection between panel and event. Panel is, for obvious reasons, panels and workshops actually. Events is reserved really for the main events at the show. So things like opening ceremonies, the cosplay contest, the concert, etc. Length. The participants, I didn't talk about this earlier, but you can specify for any of these how many people can sign up to be part of the event. And so if an event is limited, for example, an RPG game might be limited to 6 players, and so you'd put that in as max participants. There's also a max waiting list to say how many people beyond the max could sign up to fill spots in case someone cancels from that. Panels also let them select the type of equipment they're going to need for the event. If there's a materials fee that's going to be charged for the event. Again, the suitability, whether it's 18 plus or not. The notes field is important for panels, as many of these panels have special needs. They might need chairs removed, they might need something in particular, like a Mac video adapter or something like that we might need to dredge up. So the notes in here are intended for the AV staff and the panel staff to help make sure that the panel gets set up correctly. The format of the panel lets them select between a variety of different panel formats. So a single presenter, dual presenter meaning 2 presenters, a panel discussion which is usually a moderator and a bunch of panelists, workshops that are hands-on, Q&A, reading for like a book reading or a manga reading, a game show, a computer workshop, etc. Depending upon which you select here, the next fields actually change. So if I were to go to, say, a panel, I would get a moderator field and a panelist field to fill those in. And this is the login IDs separated by commas of the particular people that will be doing these roles. And next is the programming tracks. So we break down all of our programming into several different categories, and so we can provide schedules that are for a particular category only. So if someone is there and they're really interested in only cosplay, we can give them a schedule that just shows all the cosplay schedules. So, and then the status for panels, whether or not they're approved, submitted, declined, etc. Okay. So those are the 3 types. You can enter all those in. Make sure you're entering them into the current year convention. Only videos can be pulled from old conventions. Panels and games need to be pulled from the current convention. So the others, the older ones, are just there for reference. If you wanted to go back and copy paste some info from them, that's fine. But now that we have our programming all entered in and all ready to be scheduled, we can now go back to my account, my departments, and maybe we'll start here with panel programming. So I'm going to select the panel department and I'm going to hit edit under the room schedule column. And I'll come in and it will preload and pre-populate our different columns. We've got our autograph room, our main events room, our panel room 1, 2, and 3 in here. And you can hide and show those as you need to. It is also going to show you the schedules for other departments. These are departments that typically you won't have access to change, but you can see if you wanted to pull those up beside it. This is particularly useful for other departments that want to be able to look at the main events schedule to make sure they're not conflicting with something that's going on in main events that might draw everyone at the con. So now, if we're doing panel programming, we want to go down here to panels and events and select from our list. Remember, we had a couple of fake panels in here. So now I can simply click and drag and put these onto the calendar. So the calendar here is starting with Thursday. I can come down to, say, Thursday at 5 p.m. if I wanted to, and put something on the calendar. If you don't like where you dropped it, you can simply click on it and drag and move it to a new location. Oh, maybe I want it to be in main events, but maybe it's 7 p.m. You can drag the other ones out. You can drag these panels out as many times. If a panel is going to be repeated, you can simply put it on the schedule multiple times. If you don't want it on the schedule at all, you can simply click it, drag it, and move it over the little recycle bin up here and drop, and it will go away. And so we can put a few things on the schedule. This is really boring because we only have a couple, but we'll go ahead and throw some in there. We're all about crazy anime fan panels and wig styling, apparently. We'll have a lot of that going on. All right. The only other thing now is that you can go down, if you're doing panel scheduling, the only thing probably you will care about down here is we can go to People. The People is going to list all the people that are associated with these panels and events that are on the calendar. And what you can do is, to make sure you don't have any conflicts, you can select a person and it will show you it'll highlight throughout the entire schedule all the panels for which those people, the selected person, is part of, to make sure that you didn't put them at the same time. So here I've got this case where Bender is teaching wig styling, which is a bit ironic, in 2 rooms at the same time, so that's a problem. So I may need to move this down so that he's not doing that, or reschedule, or what have you. Tracks would allow you then to do the same kind of thing with the tracks, to make sure that you didn't schedule too many things related to anime at the same time, or cosplay at the same time, or any of the other tracks we might have in the real event. And so that'll outline with red the particular ones that are of the same track, so that we can hopefully create a flow of particular tracks and a flow of the individual presenters that don't conflict with each other as much as possible. All right, so that is panel scheduling. So now I'm going to go back here and we'll take a look. Game scheduling is virtually identical to what I just showed you. Sorry, I went to the wrong place. We'll go to My Account, My Departments, and now let's go into Video Theater. I'm going to look at video scheduling. It's a little bit different from the others. So same kind of view, and now you notice that it highlighted it selected my video theaters instead. Like I said, I could maybe pull up the main events calendar if I wanted to take a look at that at the same time. But now we can go down here to videos. And videos is going to automatically show us all the video programming that we have for this current convention. And I can drag these onto the schedule, similar to what I was showing with the panels. So I can put these on there and schedule them all I want to. Filling this up. We need a little Deliverance in there. Some Doctor Who right after that, which doesn't make any sense at all. Jurassic Park, sure. Little late night Monty Python's always good. Put some Star Trek and put everybody to sleep at Twilight. Great. Okay, so anyway, you'd throw them on the schedule wherever you wanted to here. Now, the thing about it is that, as I mentioned before, you can pull videos from prior events. And because there could be thousands of videos on prior events, especially since in the case of AnimeFest, we've got data in here back to 2005, I don't want to show all of these in the list. So this is only showing the ones that are marked as being 2014 in here at the moment in this fake database. But I know that I, for example, have Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a previous event item in here. So I can just type in Buffy and now hit search and it will come up with that. And now I can add it to the schedule. So that's the way you can get to the blocks that are, the programming blocks that are from previous years if you want to add those to the calendar. And that's about it. I think I've shown everything. Delete, move, you can play around. One thing to note on all of these things, if you need to move some programming that you've already scheduled, especially once we've printed the Pocket program and basically every change that happened since then is a change that our members need to know about. If you needed to move this Cheers episodes 1 through 6 to a different room or a different time, don't delete it and re-add it. Just move it to its new time and place, wherever that might be. That will ensure that the system knows that it was moved, and it can inform the people that were planning to go to this to go to the new date and time and place. so that they don't miss it. If you delete it and re-add it, then the system doesn't know to let people know about that change. So please do keep that in mind. Anyway, I think that completes the scheduling portion. I can show you at least one other thing real quick. If we go to now administration, go to scheduling. This is the same place where you went into the panel, game, or video programming. There's also a way you can do a programming booklet or programming grid if you want to get a printout of these. Let's go to programming grid here for a second. If I come in here and select, maybe I want to get the, well, let me go ahead and get all the schedules. So I can multi-select by using the Shift or Control keys here to select multiple. We'll say that this is the DICON 2014 schedule, and we'll say we're doing a room schedule and we want 8.5 by 11 paper. What this should do is go out and produce a PDF from the schedule data so that you can then print the schedule grid out. And so, here we go. And so now this has all that programming in here that we had added into the schedule in a grid format that we've used in the past as our programming guide. Okay. I think that's it here. Let me go back and I can show you one more piece here. If you go to scheduling and go to program booklet, that is the new form of program guide. Schedule, run, PDF, submit. This will produce this format that we've been using lately. It's a much more condensed format to show the schedule in. So either one's available, so you can create your own PDFs and print them for your departments and such. Anyway, I think this concludes the video. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. Thank you very much.